NSJT, No Secrets, Just Truth, Jezreel, Emil, Karan. I guess sooner or later the truth about these recordings was going to come out, so it might as well come out now. Lovelosophy, it is the philosophy of love, and it was born almost, I would rather say 20 years ago. I had a big heart, and I still do have a big heart, but the ability to be able to feel the empathy of someone else's soul is something I rarely ever talk about. And I remember when I was young, I used to have dreams, and the same dream would repeat itself over and over again, and I wake up crying. And the dream would be a beautiful woman standing on a rock on a beach, flowing white dress, hair flowing in the wind, staring out into the water while the full moon is out, illuminating her dress, giving her a glow. I remember the closer I walked to her, the more sad and afraid I felt, the more I wanted to cry. I could feel her pain. I could feel everything that she had been through, everything she had seen, and I could understand why her heart was hurt, but also knew my role in it, that I was the one who would be the opposite of all the things that she had ever been through. And I remember each and every time I had this dream, I would wake up crying with tears upon my face because I knew that she was waiting on me, that she was waiting on a true lover. Now, when you are as young as 10 years old, dreaming as deep as that, then you begin to know that your life is different, that you're different. And over the years, as I began to write, I would write to her. And my poetry became even deeper because I was writing to her to remind her, to let her know that I would never forget her, that her love will never be forgotten. Her heart, her passion, her desires, her dreams will never be forgotten. As she faced the ocean, she had the purest heart I've ever seen. Her desires were pure, her passions were pure. There was nothing to tempt her or tempt me other than her. And I can remember sitting in the sand, writing out the laws of love, the rules of time, as I would say in my poetry. And basically, I would sit there in the sand and write my poems. And then I would wake up before I could ever reach and touch her hand or touch her, which always made it seem so crazy for me because here I am so in love with the dream, in love with the woman who is standing upon a rock, staring out into the ocean, and I could feel this overwhelming feeling in my heart. And I would wake up before I can even reach her. And this time, I was at the height of my career. I was at the height of life, and this is when I first formed the label NSJT. And little known fact, NSJT used to be NWL, now with Love. And I would write 11 poems back to back. I'll write 10 poems and 8 poems and 5 poems back to back because it was so much feeling inside that I couldn't keep it in. And so NSJT was born and conceived out of the fact that in order to meet her, I knew that I would have to be completely honest. That I would have to run the risk of sharing my heart, my soul, and everything about me. And I can say to this day, I still have yet to meet her, and I still have the dreams. And even though the dreams are a little different now, I still feel the compassion. I still feel the love, the truth, the depth of her reality, how far she could see, the things that she's been through, the hurt. And I can always feel in my dream the need to comfort her, to hold her, to love her. And I know what some people say, you don't search for love, you wait for love to come find you. I don't believe that. I believe you do spend your life searching for love. Anytime you allow somebody into your life and you call yourself so-called dating or whatever, you're looking for love. You're looking, you're prospecting. You're allowing this person to come into your life hoping that they have the prospects to be what you want them to be. Now, my biggest problem is that, yeah, I open up my heart from the very beginning. I'm not afraid to. I wear my heart on my sleeve because my heart is my shield. It is everything that I am. And there are women who believe that they need to play the game like a man plays the game. Well, you know what? Love is not a game. Love is something pure, something real, something that's healing. It is a spirit, it's untamed, it's powerful. When you allow it to be as it is, when you're so busy playing the game, you end up losing in the end. Only you end up losing. Those who play the game get messed up by the game. Because how is it a game? How? When it comes down to what you want is security and you want love. I hear people say, well, like this person's like a brother to me and I don't want to get in a relationship. Well, what do you think marriage is? That person becomes your brother, your best friend, your confidant. That person becomes everything all rolled in one. I think more or less now that I'm older, my critique comes with so much anger that a lot of times people don't realize that what I'm saying is love does not ask you to sacrifice yourself, but to evolve, to change naturally, not beyond the boundaries of who you are, but to make yourself greater, to illuminate your life, to illuminate your path forward, to give you someone to hold on to, someone to love, someone to be understanding. And what's making me leave this message is because I had the dream last night. And it hurts me every time I have this dream because I know she's out there. I know she's waiting on me. I know that somehow she is the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. I know that somehow that just her voice, just her touch, just her words is powerful enough. Do I look back on my past relationships and wonder whether she was one of them? Yeah, I do. I made mistakes growing up in love. I made my own mistakes. But to see the outcome of those relationships after I was gone, I realized that it couldn't be. Most of them have more than one kid, or most of them are not in a stable relationship. They're still not married. They're still out here playing the field. They think love is a game. And that's not me. That never was me. I was born to be made into a husband, a good man, a respectful person. You know, I was made to teach, and I was made to talk about things that people refuse to talk about. You know, these young girls have no idea what it's like to have a boy write them poetry or take them out to the movies without expectation. One of the worst things I've heard before was, well, such and such bought me a pair of shoes, so I slept with them. That's not a reason to sleep with somebody. And while some people would say, well, you know, that's just trifling. They, you know, did this. Don't play, because there's reasons why you have done some of the dumbest things in the world yourself. So I do not judge, and I ask you not to judge as well as I begin to tell stories to you about my life and the people that's in my life. I don't judge them, because sometimes they feel that, especially when you grow in a low income neighborhood, that somebody to do that for you, that means a gesture of love, and that means you have to give something up. I want my person to hold on to their virginity. I want my person to not have more sexual encounters than she has hands or fingers. For me, I know that I have only been with 3 women. It's hard for me to even talk about why that is. I've dated, but I've only slept with 3 women. Because I believe that when you sleep with someone, you're exchanging energy, you're allowing them into your soul. You are swapping pieces and parts of each other into your heart and soul. As I said before, I believe in a karmatic destiny. I know what it's like to be ready to just strike out there and see what's out there. And I know what it's like to have your heart ripped to shreds, because I've had that happen to me over and over again. That I put my heart out there and had it ripped to shreds. And yet I prepare my nice old armor, put my heart back on my sleeve, and get ready to battle once again for the power of love. It's not just truth I defend. And SJT is just not about truth. It's about love. It's about passion. It's about desire. It's about temptation. It's about all the elements of what life is, not just one thing. And I think people get so caught up with NSJT means, oh, you can't lie. But at the same time, it's about, oh, I can't go beyond certain rules either. I have to be honest when I'm dealing with love. I have to be honest when I'm dealing with my passions and desires and my wants and my needs and the temptations. I have to deal with those things. Those things come to the forefront. I'm a man just like any other man. Do I lust? Yes. But in order for me to control my lust, I do what I must do, which is suppress it and lock it away. Because I know that when that day comes and I find her, that I will be able to be who I am with no problem. I'm a very complicated person. Every part of my life is structured. Every part of my life is built as if I was an architect. The framework of a house, the framework of a mansion, in my case, is the framework of a temple in which I worship nothing but God Himself. God comes first. So I put love on the back burner. I put love on the back burner for 8 years and just got out of a relationship that she thought it was a game. She thought who I was some kind of intriguing mystery, but I'm not. She said I love to speak in third person, which I do. Because when I speak of myself, I speak of myself from an outside perspective because that's how I see myself. I see myself as a third party. First party is the real me, the original, the one that will never change. The second party is the party of which brings change and delivers change. And the third party is the party that ensures that the change is a positive change, ensure that the change is a respectable change, that the change is completely different than what is expected. It's like polishing or a window washer looking in on that outside, correcting whatever mistakes that is to be seen. Yes, that relationship ended because I saw what was to be the future. And I had saw it for a while and just didn't want to say anything. And then the the anger grew inside me because I knew it was a game. I knew it wasn't real. And as I continued to feel that feeling, I I emotionally got upset, which I rarely ever do. Emotionally, I got to the point where I realized it wasn't worth it. She wasn't worth my time. She wasn't the cat's meow, as they say. She wasn't the catch of the day. She wasn't the 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 impressive find. She was just another one of them. I call them anti-lovers because they don't have any idea what true love is or what it takes to make love work. They will shuffle between this person and that person, always blaming others for the hurt and pain that they feel, never really understanding that the hurt and pain that they feel comes from deep and within them. That the greatest enemy that they have to face is themselves. Lovelosophy is about the philosophy of love. Love asks you not to sacrifice yourself for it because it is untamed. It roams as it pleases. It does as it wants. Once it chooses you and chooses to dwell inside you, then you have the power and the the capability of shaping whatever it is that you want it to shape. When I found love, love was a ravenous beast. It lashed out at everyone. It rejected the notion that love could be loved. But as I slowly began to feed love, slowly began to feed love, empathy, and compassion, and comfort and peace, as I slowly begin to feed love the ability to be strong, and have courage and bravery, I saw a change in myself. I saw a change in my life. I became more of a master at poetry than I could ever imagine. I became stronger as an individual. I became stronger as a human being in this world because I not only carried with me the power of truth, but I understood the power of love. I understood that giving love was the number one mission of my life. Whether love returns back to me is not an issue to me. I do not seek love, not to be loved just because I love. I seek love because love is a birthright. I know I'm missing a rib and she's out there somewhere. I feel her call me. So I wade through the waters of the murky swamp that they call the river of love, the chaos of love, looking to save that one before she drowns, looking upon the beach and the shore of forever, just watching with amazement, knowing that in her heart I can feel her pulse. That in her heart is the power for us to evolve and create something more powerful than just a thought. But we can create a life that can be everlasting and immortal. I love being a writer. I love being in love with love. I love that on one hand I can count how many people I've been with. I love the fact that I'm not like every man that's out there. I love that my story has twists and turns to it. I love the fact that now I'm being able to allow myself to let go of some of my secrets. I was celibate for 8 years. I dated, but I refused to have sex because I didn't want my relationships defined by sex. I didn't want my relationships defined by lust. The temptation was there, but I didn't cave in. And yes, on this last relationship, I did, and it was on purpose. My vow was to go 7 years without sex, and I went 8. My vow was the next person who came along that I would give them the opportunity to shape and mold what will happen to me or who I will end up being. And so far, it had ended up me being greater as Jezreel Emil Kavan than anything else. She gave me the power to return back to my roots. She gave me the power to return back to who I am. Although she thought she was playing a game with me, she wasn't. She was playing a game with herself. I played chess, she was playing checkers. It's hard to play someone who sees the future. It's hard to play someone who has the spirit of discernment, who can see straight through your soul. It's hard to play someone when you already know what their motives are and what their plans are. It's important to me to leave these messages so that if she's out there, she can understand that I have not forgotten about her. I will not forget about her, that I will always stand for her. My passion is her. My love is her. Everything I write is about her. My poetry is a diary. of my mistakes in looking for her, my triumphs and victory in finding another way to reach her, the curiosity of whether the next woman is her. I've seen a lot of wounded women in my time, and it hurts me that at such a young age they are wounded because men can't keep their hands to themselves, because they can't I'm sorry because they can't keep to the code and the law of being a man, that they have the nerve to consider themselves a man after they've molested a woman, or molested a girl, raped a girl, that a man could consider himself a man after he raped a woman or molest a child. To me, they deserve no respect from me and they get none from me. 98% of the women I've talked to have had something happen to them in their life. But see, the hustlers won't know that. The hustlers don't care. The hustlers only care about the fact that they're putting out, that they're getting something from this chick. It's a game to them. They're not real men, they're little boys. And it pisses me off that women fall for these little boys instead of a grown man who understands the passions and the intricacy of life. I feel like I have grown up in the wrong era of my life. If you ask me what age would I love to live in, and I would say the 1950s, the 1960s, when love was about education, intellect, when love was about just expressing who you were and being in love with that person's insides and not their outsides. When holding hands was the biggest thing in the world, like jumping over the moon, you got to hold her hand. That first kiss was the bliss written in the language of love. That holding her in your arms was an essay of epic proportions of how great and grand love was. That together y'all both shared your first time together. That y'all deepened y'all relationship. That you wanted to marry her from the beginning. That it wasn't about just sleeping with her. That the man was the protector, the provider. Lovelosophy, the theory of love, is about those things. It's about these things. We look at society and the change in young girls having babies. In other words, babies having babies, not understanding what life is like, what life could have been like for them, what love could have been like for them. I can feel the tears they cry in the midnight hour. Why me? Why? That's the deepness of lovelosity. That's the deepness of love itself. The empathy a man must feel. He must feel for those he loves and those who he do not even know. He must stand guard to protect. every woman. Because every woman is the queen to the throne of man. Every girl is a princess to the throne of man. It must be treated as such. The hardest thing for me is being an uncle of two nieces that I fear will go through life with a bunch of radical, disturbing young boys who know not what it's like to be a man, who will spend their whole entire time trying to get into the pants of another chick, who will count them off as numbers of conquest, yet have conquered not the will of love at all, who will destroy a young girl's heart and pretend that it's art. I say that I am afraid of the future because love has become a forgotten form, a forgotten thought, a forgotten promise. We measure out our love and it comes out unequal because we love our mothers more than we love our sisters. We love our sisters more than we love our brothers. We love ourselves more than we love everything else in the world. When love is equal, even down to strangers, love is equal. And unless you are equal with your love, you cannot say that your love is equal to who you are. When you show favoritism to one and not the other, you cannot say your love is strong. Your love is weak. Loving God with all thy heart and Him returning the reflection back onto you as if you are a mirror, He asks you to love equally. Love thy mother the same as you love thy father. Love thy father the same as you love thy brother and sister. Love thy stranger the same way you love your family, because love is equal. He pours out an abundance of love. He is a pitcher and you are a glass. And when your glass becomes empty, He fills you again. Lovelosophy. It is the greatest power there is in the world besides wisdom, love. To love oneself is strength, but to love oneself and love another is power. We cannot go through life thinking that everything is a game. Life is not a game. This is serious. This is real. This is what's going on. We cannot be afraid to stand up for love. We cannot be afraid to stand up for ourselves and the beauty of our own souls. We can't take that risk. We cannot take that risk of losing ourselves behind the idea of love. Love asks us to search ourselves for the fine grains of sand that is within us, of time, the fine grains of sand that's within us, that is wisdom and knowledge. Because some of us have shattered the hourglass that is within us, and the sand has spilled out. You say, what shattered the hourglass within us? Yes, we have broken it and become a part of an immortal story, a story that shall not end here in death, shall not end here as the other stories of others shall end. Our stories shall go on. We shall be called the lovers of legends. We are the myths that they speak of when they talk about love. When they talk about the perfect woman, they're talking about you. When they're talking about the perfect man, they're talking about you. But you have to believe in yourself. Believe that you have the power to do such things. To walk in such directions in your life. To heal, to restore, to rebuild. To become repairers of the human soul, to the human heart, to the human mind. Lovers of poetry, lovers of music, lovers of art, lovers of beauty, lovers of bodies. Lovers of compassion and empathy. Lovers of peace, hope, and tranquility. Lovers who will break the bounds that of chains that have held others in place for years. Remember what our ancestors has taught us, that together we can do all things, that we can do the impossible, that we stand on the verge of the promised land, that love is a birthright and not a gift of the popular, that we cannot lose sight of what the nucleus of a family is, that in order to move ahead in our lives, we have to look backwards to see the damage that lay behind us, so that when we build, we can build something stronger than our past. We can build a future with promise. We can build a future with hope. We can build a future with love. We can build a future with wisdom. These old ancient elements of humankind. God has not forgotten us. God has not forgotten you. He wants you to experience love. He wants you to know what love is. Lovelosophy, the theory of love, the philosophy of love, is all about you. It's all about us as a nation, believing that we are inspired to do more than just speak. We are inspired to tell the truth. We are inspired to love. We are inspired to be strong. We are inspired to be bold. We are more than just what destiny claims we are. We go beyond the realms of earth. We go beyond the realms of heaven. We go to the highest, the realm of the sacred one, the Father of us all, the life breather, the creator, the one who has created this creation, mankind. And we ask him to love us as we love our brothers and our sisters for who they are.